Hey, what's up, guys? This is Misha from Periphery, and we're doing conversations with Vin and Sori.
I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
I'm David from Heat of Damage.
Heat of Damage. This is a band that we reviewed. This was actually this is when we were doing those marathon recordings.
Okay.
You were going on leave.
Yeah.
It was a song about World War I, and I gave it an 11
Yes.
because I was really struck by it. So this is the guy. So I'm going to jump right into it. Tell me about that song. Like, what was going on with that song? What was the mentality? What was your mindset? Do you write the music as far as the lyrics go?
With that one, I was much more of a lyrical guy. We had gone into this new record wanting to have like an epic, right? Like, for example, I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan. They have like 9-minute songs about awesome stuff. And Nick, our guitar player, and well, all of us really, but especially Nick, is a huge World War I history nerd. So he knows everything about that period. And so we're like, we really want to write about that time period. It's incredible. It's dark. It's all sorts of things. And so we got the music going. And the reason the song is called Siegfried's Last Bow is there's a poet named Siegfried Sassoon who fought in the war, got wounded. You know, he's actually pretty well known from what I understand in like all sorts of poetry cultures and everything. And so we borrowed a lot of his observations of the war and like brought them into the song. So there are some passages where like for example, there's a lyric in there like, we were born to die in hell. There was one poem from the war that we read where like someone literally wrote, I died in hell. They called it Passchendaele. And so we borrowed a lot of those actual poems from that era and brought them to life in the metal song 100 years later.
Wow.
There's a Maiden song, Passchendaele.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that everybody tells us to listen to.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I will, but I probably won't give it an 11. So why are you so obsessed with World War I?
Because it's crazy. It's one of those things where literally the world attacked itself, and then we can also look with hindsight and see that they didn't really learn from anything because we ended up having a second one. But especially World War I, because of just how bogged down the fighting was, and it was on that cusp of new weaponry with old tactics, and it just didn't go anywhere. Literally thousands of guys would die. Trenches would get blown up for a mile of land at a time over, the whole country of France and everything. It's just one of those things that it's hard to wrap your mind around just how, like, am I allowed to swear on this, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just how fucked up all that is, and it's crazy to read about the experiences of just your regular everyday kids, like your regular like 18 or even 16-year-old British guys that lied about their age to go off and fight in the war, to the royalty that are making the decisions at the time. It's just crazy to think that it was 100 years ago too. It's a fascinating period of world history.
I think I actually mentioned that in the video. I went through this phase. I was listening to Hardcore History. Have you ever heard of that podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! And he was talking about the terrible confluence between the technological advancements, but still having the same silly tactics. It was just, the bloodletting was insane. Mm-hmm. So when did you get into metal, and how did you guys find each other as a band?
I love this story. I started out, I was like 9 or 10 years old, and my mom got me my first like Iron Maiden and Metallica CDs. And I realized, like, playing those, I was like, oh, this is my shit, dude. This is what I want to listen to for the rest of my life. And so I just had gotten this idea of like, oh, I'm a metal guy. I want to learn to play guitar. And I got like Guitar Hero Metallica, and I'm playing that shit with the 5 buttons, just thinking I'm the shit. And then I realized, like, wait, there are other musicians at my school. Like, I got to get something going. And in 8th grade I live in a little town outside of Sacramento called Folsom. And the drummer and I from the band, Julian, we were in the same science class in 8th grade. And he would wear like Metallica t-shirts and stuff. And he told me he was a drummer. And I was like, dude, let's do something with that. And so we started playing like Metallica songs in his garage, probably pissing off the neighbors, but I don't care. Had a lot of fun with that. And then Nick, our guitar player, he and I were in a guitar class at our high school freshman year that was god awful. it was just bad. And so every time our teacher would leave the room, we'd look at each other and start like hammering out Metallica riffs or something, you know, just we got in trouble a lot. You know, and I realized this guy is the most amazing guitar player I've ever heard in my life. And he's like 15. So we got him to join, the two of us, me and the drummer, and we started actually playing shows without a bass player in Sacramento for like the first several months of our career. We didn't sound very good, but we were just having so much fun. Right? No, dude.
Yeah.
It was crazy. We started playing shows like Boardwalk and started networking with people, and we didn't have a bass player. And then Jared reached out to us, our bass player, and he said like, hey, I already know how to play all your guys' songs. I can do scream vocals, and I have a van that we can haul the gear in. So we were basically like, you don't need to audition, bro. Just please. Like, very easy initiation into the band, and especially because at the time, not only did he have a van for the gear, he was the only one who could drive because we were all 15. He was 16. So we were like, okay, we need you bad.
Yeah.
What year is this?
2014. Yeah.
You were in the 8th grade in 2014.
No, I was in the 8th grade in 2012. This was all going on like a little later.
Oh,
even better.
Major difference. Very, very different.
Yeah, that's the story of how we all came to be Heat of Damage, and we've been the same lineup since. I'm really happy that we've had a really consistent lineup, not throwing around members all the time.
Yeah.
Have you guys? Are you guys signed to a label right now?
We are. They're called Slip Trick Records in Latvia.
Latvia? Wow.
Latvia. She did.
Went to Latvia.
She did some time in Latvia.
Sometimes.
You did. You went to a prison.
I know. I did go to a prison.
I told
That's
you.
That's true.
Is this like recent Latvia, or is this Soviet era Latvia? Because that could be two totally different prisons.
No. It was. What year would that have been?
It was post. She's not that old. It was post-Soviet era.
Yeah, it was
Latvia.
post. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure because they're totally different Latvias.
So,
yeah.
So how did a Latvian record label find you guys, or was it vice versa?
It was kind of both. We had the record done. We'd already finished it. We had this little hidden page on our website that our management was using as a like a reference page, basically. He would send this secret link off to labels, and it would be like, all right, here's the artwork, here's the songs, here's this, that. If you're interested, let us know. And then this was the label that put together the best offer for us through our manager shopping us out and everything.
Did you guys have any trouble like with your families when you first started doing it, or was everybody's families on board with you guys' musical decision?
Oh, we had a really good time, actually. Our parents like really bought into it. It was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Especially because we were like 15, 16. And so, you know, looking back, we had no idea how much of the business stuff goes into this. You know, we were just kids dicking around on instruments and writing music and stuff and playing shows, but there's like logistics that you just kind of don't think about when you're 15. So our parents actually kind of took the reins with that for a while. It was kind of cool.
Whoa.
Like our first PR campaign was organized by our drummer's dad and everything.
Wow.
My mom drove us to our first show, you know, so they were really involved. They really, and our drummer's mom, who passed away, bless her heart, she did everything for us. She was like our merch person. She made patches for us for one show. She made like Heat of Damage patches.
Oh.
She made shirts for our family members. Because like one time my mom shows up to the show and she's got this totally like big ass Heat of Damage shirt. I'm like, where the hell did you get that? And they had made it. So they were really involved. It was really cool. They always share our stuff on Facebook. It's awesome.
That's cute. That's exactly how it should be, I think, with parents. But it's not always the case like that. Sometimes the parents are really negative about it.
Get a real job.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's some good memories.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
How did you come up with the name Heat of Damage?
I don't even know. There was something, I think, you know, I was 13, 14 when Julian and I started jamming together, and the two of us, we called ourselves Heat of Damage before we were really a band, you know? And that name is just kind of stuck, and we started playing our first shows with it, and then we started getting a reputation with it, and it's just been like, we haven't changed it, and now we can't go back, and it's, you know, we love it now. It started off as just kind of this, like, what do we want to call ourselves, to like, this is who we are.
Yeah. How would you describe the band's sound?
Little bit of everything. My vocals, I kind of see myself in this kind of Trivium style delivery. Like, if you know, like Matt Heafy or like that kind of James Hetfield growly guy thing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I got going on. The scream vocals that Jared and now Julian does too, that they bring in for the extra layer, kind of reminds me of like your like Killswitch Engage type, especially with the trade-off between clean and scream vocals.
Yeah.
And then musically, like, goddamn, we're a freaking like just a soup of stuff. It's cool. You know, like whatever we're into at the time, you know, we implement a lot of groove in our music actually, because we listen to a lot of hip hop outside of metal. And then like we got like on a Gojira kick for a while. So like if you listen to one of the songs on the record, it's called Voyage to the Highlands. There's just some like just stupid heavy riffs in there, you know, and it's a mix of everything: thrash, groove, new metal, all sorts of cool stuff. If you're a metal fan, you'll like what we do.
Who's your favorite hip hop? You said you're in hip hop. Who's your favorite rapper?
Oh God, my favorite rapper. I love fucking Kendrick Lamar, dude.
Kendrick.
Yeah, that's my guy. And then I don't even know, like Nick and Julian and Jared, they're always like bumping somebody new. Like I'm much more of like, what's the word? Homogeneous with my music. Like I'm not as broad, I'd say, as the other guys. But they've always got something new going on. Or like when we went on tour, for example, we had a lot of like Post Malone playing. Because like when you play metal all the time, you kind of want to just chill sometimes, especially when you're like 3 a.m. So we'll just be grooving, you know, like to some Posty or like instrumentally. Do you guys know a band called Krungbin?
Never heard of them.
They're amazing. Check them out. They're an instrumental band and they're awesome. Like Krungbin. Yeah, it's like, hold on, I'm gonna look up how to spell it for you. But like, they're awesome, by the way. If when you get a chance to listen to them, like you'll just want to like sit on like your roof and like watch the stars for like 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
I love music
that sounds
like that. Wait, where is this band? What's the name of them?
They're called Krungbin, and their name is spelled super weird. It's KHRUANGBIN.
There it is, right there. Okay.
So how do you guys make your music? Do you guys all sit together and jam until you get stuff, or do you guys do stuff separately and then kind of bring it together, or do you guys do work on the computer, or how does this work?
The last 2 things you said, like Nick will write like just some cool riffs or something at home, and he'll come to the rehearsal studio and be like, hey guys, check out this thing I was doing, and he'll start playing it, and Julian will figure out some sort of drum beat to it. We all have, you know, laptops and iPhones and stuff, so we send each other audio messages of things that we, you know, think sound cool together. We're also all trying to get the same like processing software, like production stuff, so that way we can actually like make rough demos to send to each other. So that way it's not just like, hey, listen to this guitar riff, you know, it's like, oh, I made this with like a drum track or with So we're trying to get more electronically cohesive. As for lyrics, they're always together. We don't like to like write things individually and bring it forward. We like to kind of write them together, get that
what do you mean, like sitting in the same room and trying to figure out what's going to come next in the lyrics?
Yeah, totally.
What? Really?
Yeah, that's how for the most part, the whole last record was written.
Oh, that's wild.
That's why I think Siegfried's Last Bow has the cool lyrics that it does, is because it wasn't just, you know, one person's pet project. It was all of us taking what we've learned about like the war, you know, all of us, you know, bringing our ideas together. And then it also, because we're best friends, we can also look at each other and be like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. You know? And be like, let's write something cooler, you know, and then we figure out what we think is the coolest song we can make out of what we have, and then we do.
Nice.
I was in a band for 4 seconds with my friends in New York, and
nice.
I'd be working all night on this, you know, whatever, and I'd show up, I'm like, all right, guys, this is gonna blow you all away, and they're like, yeah, it sounds like Korn.
Are we a Korn cover band now, guys?
It must have, because that's all I listen to.
Right.
I got an Ibanez guitar, blah blah blah.
Very influenced.
So I obviously did not deal. I'm like, fuck you. What's your riff? Of course, the guy couldn't play. I could barely play. I had a guitar at home. You know what I mean? So you guys never have those conflict, or like you said, you guys say, "Oh man, that sucks," or do you guys ever really get mad at each other? Tell the truth.
Honestly, not really. I'm really happy with our like relationship as band members. You know, we don't like go at each other's throats a whole lot. We'll be brutally honest with each other. And sometimes, you know, if someone's really like stoked about something and the rest of us don't really like it, you can see where they're like, fuck, like what are you talking about? You know, but nothing's ever gotten to the point where like, I'm fucking quitting the band, dude. You know, like nothing crazy like that. Cause at the end of the day, it is about putting together a product that all four of us are really into, that we can perform and share with as many people as possible and be like totally confident in what we're doing.
What's the biggest show you guys have ever played?
Biggest show? Oh, like by like straight capacity or just like what it meant for us?
Well, answer those both separately.
Well, let's see. Our most recent album release show was off the fucking rails. It was this place place called Holy Diver in Sacramento that we got packed. It was amazing for the album release. That felt really cool. The biggest show, though, I think in terms of like importance, like reputation building, connection and stuff, we actually got to open for Trivium years ago when they came to Sacramento. And I've never let myself forget it, clearly, because they're like one of my favorite bands of all time. I actually have one of their logos like tattooed on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that band. And so we got to play they were doing this tour in support of the Silence in the Snow album, and they weren't having a supporting act. They were going to all these different cities. Like they came from like LA and Fresno, and they just had the promoters throw locals on the bill, and we got one of the slots.
Nice.
I was just like, holy shit. You know,
That happens a lot here too, because it's Maine.
Yeah.
And there's nobody. So I forgot that there was this one band that was Dead Season. You ever heard of Dead Season? Oh, apparently they weren't that big. Continue.
Well, I mean, that's just like those two shows, like any show we've headlined the two album releases we did. So the one back in like 2015, we were still in high school, and then the one just last April. Those are really, really important to us, and just like they ended up being way cooler than we thought. And then opening for bigger groups like that, like Trivium, I mean, it was just mind blowing.
Wow.
Yeah. We should I say it?
Go ahead.
We actually landed in an interview with Trivium.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, we did. We lost it.
Somebody lost it.
Oh no.
Blame me, but you didn't name it when you closed it out, so it's somewhere in the computer somewhere. No idea where.
There's a hidden Vin and Sori interview with Trivium that has yet to be found.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no clue how to find something like that.
And the guy gave us like an hour and a half too.
Yep.
Like
Who'd you get from the band?
The bassist, is that his name?
I think he was bald.
The ball guy?
Yeah.
Paulo. Dude, I love Paulo.
Yeah.
I follow all his socials and stuff, and I got to hang out with him for just a little bit when we opened for him, and like that dude is fucking hilarious.
He's such a good guy.
Yep.
Shout out to Paulo.
Yep.
Hey buddy.
Shout out to you. We suck.
Unbelievable.
We'll find it one day, dude. You guys can do it.
It'll come out like when my hair is all gray. I'll be like, oh, here's a throwback.
Why not?
So what is the end game for Heat of Damage? Like, when will you say, okay, we've hit our goals?
That's a tough one, because like there's always something new that like we can be looking for. You know, it's where like we talk to each other. Like, for example, there's a huge festival in Sacramento every year called the Aftershock Festival. We've been going every year since it opened, and you know, our dream is to play one of those shows. And like, so if we ever got on the Aftershock lineup, we'd be like, holy shit, we finally did that. But then it becomes like, well, okay, we played the little stage at noon. Let's play the big stage at 5, you know? And then it's like, okay, well, we played that one. Now let's play fucking Download or something. You know, there's always something different for us to be looking at that I don't know if one can do all those things in a metal career. Unless you're like Iron Maiden or something. They can pretty much play whatever they want. But
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just always something cool down the line that we can be working towards. So it's hard to pinpoint, really.
I want to go back to the like jam sessions where you guys try to figure out your lyrics, because I want to picture it more. Okay, so are you guys like in a garage? Are you around a fire? Are you like at a dinner table? Like, where are you guys? You can take a little
most of the time we're in our little 12 by 13 little square studio room in Sacramento. Sometimes we do like meet up, like, I don't know, like, or like our guitar player's house. We have this little place, we call it Cozy Town. and we'll just text each other, be like, hey guys, Cozy Town, be like, hell yeah, bring your guitar, and then like we'll do stuff there. But in the studio, we have a big old whiteboard. Every studio needs a whiteboard, and we'll just, you know, be up there. We'll have little ones too. We'll have individual whiteboards, and we'll show them to each other. You know, like, oh, this is what I was thinking. You know, like we'll come up with melody and stuff with each other, and kind of just build from there what we think would sound cool.
Okay.
You always have to wait for like the approval face when you have like a lyric. you like offer like, because you have like a melody in mind, be like, oh, like what if we go from like this, and then you say a line, and then if the guys look at you like, yeah, then that means you got it.
The approval face.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
What do they do when they're
not,
what if people are not really into it? Is it just kind of quiet, or are you guys like now, or what is
depends on if you throw them a doozy or not. Because, you know, it can be something like, oh, I don't know, like that might work. We'll come back to it, or it can be like you'll straight up get laughed at sometimes. That's pretty great too.
Okay.
What? You know what I mean? And so eventually, though, you'll hit the jackpot, and the song will move on.
Okay.
What has been the lowest, most discouraging moment for you in this band?
For me, oh my gosh. Let's see. There was a show that we played years ago. This is when we were, let's see, Jared was a senior in high school. We were all juniors in high school. And we got added to this like Battle of the Bands thing in Oakland. And the winner was going to get to play Knotfest in San Bernardino.
Whoa.
And so we were like, holy shit, like we gotta like bring our A game. And we'd been playing some shows for a while. We had gotten confident with our stage presence and everything. You know, it was no longer daunting to get on a stage anymore. And so we were kind of thinking like, oh, we got this, you know, like we're going to fucking nail this. And we go to the Oakland show, and, you know, we play, and we don't place in the like top 3 or anything. And we had videotaped it. And this is the first time we'd ever actually videotaped a show. And we went home, and a few days later we came and revisited the video, and we were just watching ourselves, and it just wasn't what we thought we looked like. You know, we didn't look as cohesive. We didn't look as relaxed. We didn't, you know, like my vocals didn't sound as good as I thought they did. You know what I mean? And so it was just kind of that, like, it just kind of comes crashing down on you like, oh my God, like we are not where we want to be when we totally thought we were.
Wow.
And so like, just for that moment there, you're thinking like, fuck, like, are we doing things right? But, you know, we responded with like, fuck it, we're going to get hella good now. We're going to start, you know, I think we put like a mirror up in our rehearsal space at the time. We were using a garage then.
That's a good idea.
To like see ourselves, to make sure that we look relaxed and everything. And we just kind of made like a commitment to ourselves, like, no, we're going to be actually good now going forward. You know, and then like that show compared to the show that we just played like in April in Sacramento was like 2 totally different bands.
I'm trying to find these guys live. Is there a live stuff of you guys on YouTube?
Not recently. It sucked. We wanted to do a full-on like documentary of the album release show. We wanted to have like interviews with people. We wanted to have live footage of the shows. But at the venue, there's no way to record venue audio.
Yeah.
And so like it just didn't come together. So I don't think we have like anything that's actually good live footage that, you know, like not like iPhone type stuff. I don't think we have anything like that from like for years. We gotta get more of that actually. Now that you mentioned, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna bring it up in our next band meeting. I'm gonna be like,
there you go.
There you go.
I just think it's important when you talk about the low point and the disappointment. I think it's important for people watching this interview, you know, because if all they hear of you is Siegfried's Last Bow, they're gonna be like, we can't compete with this. Let me just put my guitar down and go back and do a night. Like, there's you got to kind of have a degree of mental toughness to be in any form of entertainment industry, whatever we want to call whatever it is.
Telling me, dude, that this industry has like no formula, I guess. Like there's no like clear ladder from like, you know, point A to point B. You know, like you just kind of do your thing, and it either goes that way or it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's the bands that don't stop that get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To where we're like, fuck, we're a really bad band, guys. We should probably find different band members to just stop after that Oakland show. Then Siegfried's Last Bow would never have been created.
Right.
You have to go through the phase where you suck to get to the part where you don't suck, you know?
Yeah, we were talking to
Yeah.
friends of ours because they're setting up a YouTube channel, and they're like, "What about this? What about this? What about this?" And it's like, you just have to do it and be consistent. And
Yeah.
what can you do? Like,
Exactly. It's like you either get that thing that just people hold on to, or you don't, and then you try again later. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And
If you don't let failure or like it not being what you thought it was going to be discourage you from to keep trying, then it's going to be like a stepping stone to be like, okay, now we're going to get better than this. Like you guys did. You're like, all right, let's put a mirror up in there and let's see, you know what I mean? Like, so you know where you're at and you're getting better. But some people see something discouraging and then they just quit out. They're like, oh man, this isn't what we thought it was going to be. Or they, run into some difficulty and stuff. There's difficulties with everything that you do. It doesn't matter. Like no matter whether it's a band or it's a YouTube channel or it's you want to start your own business, there's always some difficulties. You got to be able to just say, okay, like I'm going past that.
Yeah, that there's that pervasive myth of like the instant success.
Yeah.
Right. And I frankly, I don't know why it's so like common. Why like almost everybody has this idea. It's like, oh, you either make it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You put out a record and it goes to be a number one on the charts, or you don't, and then you're I've never understood why there's like that kind of very fatalist, view of everything.
Yeah.
Because there's so much in between that can be super cool.
Well, I think it's very convenient to have that mentality because if another band makes it, you can say, well, they just got lucky. And if you didn't make it,
there's that. It's a coping mechanism, maybe.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a guy, I've tried to help him with his YouTube channel. He's like, what do you know about it? I'm like, yeah, that's true. What do we know about?
Okay.
What do we know about being successful on YouTube? What's the heaviest price you've had to pay so far to make this baby of yours grow?
Oh, well, luckily we haven't had to sacrifice our firstborn or anything crazy to do to get where we're going.
That's good.
I think it's just like the only thing I could really think about is like you can look back and think of like opportunity costs, where you think like, oh well, like if we hadn't done this, we could be doing this or something. But like honestly, it's worked out relatively well. There are a few things that have been duds here and there, like some like PR campaigns cost like $2,000 and then like nothing happens. Like there hasn't really been like a personal cost to anything. You don't have like that story of like your parents kicking you out or like your girlfriend like being like, it's either me or the band, like I'm leaving you, like anything crazy like that. We were able to avoid the drama, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
How would you answer that question? Don't answer that.
I'm married now, dude. I'm locked. I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, my guy.
Wow. Do you guys have any kids?
No, not yet.
Is everybody in the band married?
No. We all actually know two of us. Well, I'm married. Our drummer's been in a relationship for like years. I could totally see something going on there. Like, Julian, don't share this. And then, like Nick is our bachelor. That dude's been single for like ever and he loves it. It's kind of funny because we always ask like, dude, don't you ever want like, like to have like your lady at the show, like cheering you on or something? He's like, no. Well, I mean, sure, it'd be cool, but like, I love being single, And then
go ahead.
I don't know what he does. I don't know what he wants to do or anything. He kind of lives in his van and writes badass music, and we're like, all right, dude, we love you.
Has your girl ever said to you that show sucked and you were the problem?
No, luckily. I don't know what I'll do if she's ever like, wow, everything in that show is great except you.
Oh my gosh.
I'll just be like, wow, I guess I'm taking all my gear home except you.
Oh my gosh.
Gonna live in the van. Gonna live in the van with the big homie. What were you gonna say?
I feel like that if I said something like that to you, like if you were in that situation, you would respect me for the fact that I said it to you, but I don't think that you would make you happy to hear it. And I don't think that I would be able to be that honest with you. I would probably say, well, I think that the other show was better.
We have issues, obviously.
It's all coming out live right now.
All coming out. Maybe we can write a song about it. What is the name of the record that has Siegfried's Last Bow on it?
It's called Cataclysm. It just came out in April.
Yeah, I think I saw on YouTube, not YouTube, Twitter. So is Cataclysm a concept record, or is it a loosely based, we're just going to take the concept of Cataclysm and write songs about
that one? Yeah,
so
it's not like a
necessarily a concept record.
yeah, it's not like like it's not like one thing through and through where it's all like a connected piece of art divided up into 9 songs. But we called it Cataclysm because all 9 songs, with the exception of the instrumental, obviously, are about terrible shit.
Right.
The first one is about, or Sick Because I Was About, the first track is about World War I. Terrible. The second one is about school shootings. Terrible. The third one is about pollution. The only one that's not like a real world issue is we wrote a song about a bear that avenges the extinct grizzly in California and like murders people, but still terrible. So you get what I'm going at here, where every song on the record is just about something bad.
That's hilarious. the bear one.
Cataclysm was born,
Yeah, the bear. That's funny. Good Lord. Okay, so that record's out. Are you writing any new music? It's probably premature to ask if you're writing any new music.
There's always something. There's always something in the tube. Like there's always something coming up. We have we're at that stage where we have like riffs and some like parts recorded in that demo thing that I was talking about earlier, where it's just like on the software. It's not like polished or really all that organized for that matter, but they're recorded. They're there so we can revisit them and figure out what we want to do with them. And they all have hilarious names because they're just riffs instead of songs.
Okay, so you guys don't fight necessarily about constructing a song, but you only have so much space on a record. You can't put 48 songs on a record. So have there ever been conflicts about, this song needs. What about that? You guys all agree on which song should be on the record?
Pretty much. We kind of go with like what's completed, and we'll be like, we have like 9 songs that we like, why not put them together? We haven't gotten to that point where we have anything that we're like, nah, like that song doesn't fit what we're doing on this album, like that would probably fit better later, you know what I mean? We're just kind of like, we're writing heavy stuff because we're writing it at the same time. It all sounds relatively cohesive,
right?
And we go with like, okay, we like this, we like this, we like this, we like this, da 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 da, and then you have like your 9 tracks, and then you kind of build from there, or 10 tracks, whatever you want the album to have, basically.
Okay, so if there's one thing about this band that your fans don't know that you'd want them to know, what would it be?
Oh, dude, that's a hardball right there. I don't know. I hope you can edit out the pausing, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we can totally edit.
I don't know where to go with that one, because we're all like, I think we put out what we want everyone to know about us, in the sense that like, well, we all have like our social medias anyway. You can kind of get a sense of the kind of people we are as individuals. Honestly, I don't have an interesting answer for you. I'm sorry.
No, that in itself is interesting, because 20 years ago, you'd easily be able to say something, but now everybody's on Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
So it's this weird thing now where you have access to celebrities and access to people that before you never had access to.
Flip it then. What? Is there something your fans know about you guys that you wish they didn't know?
That's a very good one. I could go. I've got a 50-page list.
I was like, count the ways.
No more blurting out, guys. I don't know. The only thing that I could see being like a negative is we're all very political people, but we don't want to make Heat of Damage about that, in the sense that, like, I don't know. I just don't think there's a point. Well, like, thrash bands have always been political, but there's no point in being like using Heat of Damage as like our political voice. You know what I mean? Because like, if you want to know what I think about things, you could ask me or find my socials. Like, it's very obvious. I study it for fun. You know what I mean? You can find that out. But like, I could see where like someone could be like, oh, like, like, fuck Heat of Damage. They think this way. I'm never listening to their music again. That's the only thing I could see being problematic. Is like, when we're open about that stuff, people go, oh, they're fucking idiots or something like that. You know what I mean?
Stick to the guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, like if I say something politically that people agree with, they're like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you guys are
it's
so
true.
open-minded." Then I say something they disagree with, they're like, "Just stick to the
music.
stick to the music reactions, dummy." Oh, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time with us, dude.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely. I've been so stoked to do this. Like X was setting this up all for me and everything. And once I saw that video, I was like, I can jive with these people right now. This is cool. I'm glad they like our music. Like I could talk to these guys for days. And then X was like, hey, do you want to do an interview with Vin and Sori? I was like, yes, I do. So here we are. I'm super stoked. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Well, what I like about your, especially, I mean, gosh, you opened the record with that song. That's crazy. Is that you guys are really saying the same thing with Gershok with the especially, what was that song they did?
I don't remember names of songs.
It was something about like blood money or something like that. But anyway, like bands with songs that are actually trying to say something, like in our current climate, it's a real risk. It really is, because people are so polarized by things that you know, they get triggered and immediately they'll, you know, it operates magnetically on the opposite end of the spectrum. So I really appreciate bands who are actually trying to say, like, I don't have a problem with having fun and all. Like we listen to Weird Al and you know, whatever, but I don't have a problem with that. But the thing that bothers me is that, you know, we review so much music, and anytime you review anything from the 60s, there's some sort of Vietnam reference somewhere. Like,
that was the big deal. That's what everyone was talking about, you know.
Right.
Yep.
Important.
Right. And then when I look at like the early 2000s and I look at, you know, we were talking to OTEP about this, like you wouldn't have known that there was a controversial war that happened because so much of the music, they like purposely stay away from that stuff. So I don't think everybody should be Rage Against the Machine, obviously. But I think people ought to be able to put the music in a time capsule and say, this is what was going on. So I listen to you guys, I'm like, okay, there definitely was a problem with climate change around, you know, that was going on at this time.
Yeah.
If I listen to the Heat of Damage CD, I'm going to know that from, you know, 50 years from now, you open in a time capsule.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then like, even the Siegfried song, it's like, if I open it up 50 years from now, it's like, shit, it's been 150 years. We still haven't figured this shit out. Killing each other is not a good idea on a massive scale. Wholesale killing is not a good idea. So it's stuff like that, to where it's like, if you're a band that's fun and all that stuff, like, I'm not dissing you. I'm just saying I have an appreciation for bands that are actually saying something, in that it, like I said, it's time capsule music, you know. And we homeschool our kids, and I felt like that song, coupled with a couple episodes of hardcore history, is enough to get you know, your World War I credit for studying.
Yeah, probably easier to remember too, because it's impactful.
Well, a lot of ancient cultures, they wrote their history in meter in music, so that it would be easier to repeat it. And so, you know, I'm sure you weren't thinking, hey, Dorian's gonna writing this song,
that's
like, oh, Dorian's gonna do great in homeschool because of this. But it's so that's what I personally appreciate about your guys. Obviously Gershok, same thing. So thank you for that. Seriously, it's important.
It's what we like to talk about anyway, you know, like I can't imagine writing something that isn't more like what we study, what we are interested in that way. You know, it'd be fun to, I don't know, it'd be kind of fun to just write like a kind of pointless like butt rock song that's just like party all night type thing.
Yeah.
But you know, we're always reading something new, watching some new thing like those, or like listening to those podcasts or something. And so it's always like, that's what's kind of swirling around in our heads. And it's like, let's write about that, dude. It all comes together.
There's this band named Wax. It's not a band, it's a guy. It's named Wax. He did a Post Malone cover of Rockstar. He covered it. You guys should do a Post Malone cover on your next record.
Oh, you're challenging us now. I think someone's gonna run with that.
You should. And we will absolutely review that song for free.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So
dude, I'm down as fuck. I don't care. Let's do it.
Yeah, I love that song. I listen to it.
Well, hopefully when you bring it up, you'll get the approval look.
I don't like it.
I want to get the not the you know.
Yeah. You'll have all this like existential historical angst, and then there'll be a Post Malone song.
Right.
Hidden track. There's one track everyone thinks it's like 15 minutes long. It's just like a gap and then a Post Malone cover.
Awesome sauce. David Hogg from the band Heat of Damage. What's the name of the record, my guy?
Cataclysm.
What's the name of the other records in your discography?
We put out, let's see. We put out a EP in 2014, our first like professional recording. We hung out in a studio for the first time, and we felt like the shit. We made a 3-song EP.
Sorry, I can't hang out. I'm going to the studio. Right. Sorry.
Yeah, we had a little bit of that going on, but like it wears off fast. So that was called the Lifestyle EP. That came out in 2014. And then we put out our first full-length album called Open Fire in 2015. And then Cataclysm came out April of 2019. Just a little bit ago.
Wait. Are you going to send that to me? Because my birthday is in April.
You better believe it.
You're going to send us a shirt?
I will send you guys literally anything you want. I have it all in my closet right now.
Sweet. I literally want a Heat of Damage shirt. I definitely want that. And we're going to do a couple CD giveaways to continue to promote you guys.
I love that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, send us that package.
I also want a Heat of Damage shirt.
Nice.
Well, I said us, didn't I say?
You
us?
said you. Is it men's sizes or do you have women's sizes too?
So far, it's only men's sizes, but the more the more that you say that, the more the demand goes up. There's been a lot more demand for women's shirts than we thought going into it. So like we'll probably be getting some soon.
Oh, okay. Sweet. All right, cool.
Yeah. So send us a couple CDs, send us some merch, and we'll do some giveaways. I'm not giving away my shirt though.
Me neither.
Don't even ask me.
Good plan. Good plan. You got our email. You can send us the address. We'll get it to you. We'll get it to you soon.
Watch all.
All right.
All right, my guy. Much love to you. Heat of Damage, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Pick up the record. Cataclysm. Buy their shirts. That's
learn the history.
That's a Gershok line.
That's a Gershok.
But buy their shirts anyway.
Awesome.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Gone.